Hey, ministry leaders, care group leaders, just wanted to recap our LRT with you. First of all, thank you for being there, and I just want you to know how much the elders really do value and appreciate our smaller groups when we break out, and where the elders get to pray for you, get to hear from you, and know exactly what's going on in your personal life and also the area of your ministry. It just helps us to be able to pray for you better as we think of you throughout our weeks. If for some reason you missed the LRT, I wanted to make sure that I was able to quickly recap with you. So we had a great discussion around the way that we get volunteers into ministry, the way that we mobilize volunteers here at CCF. And we are incorporating a system called the A through E system. The A is for attract. It's about attracting people into your area of ministry with vision, not need, but you do have to ask. Build. Build is about making sure that you have built into that brand new volunteer's life enough so that they have everything that they need to launch successfully. So they know exactly what's expected of them. They know they have the resources and the materials. They know the times when to show up, when it's supposed to be over, all that kind of stuff, so that you've given them everything that they need, that you have built into their life. The C is for connect, making sure that new volunteers have come onto your team and are connecting relationally. Bill Hybels says that the first 30 days of a volunteer are the very fragile days in the life of a volunteer. So that's very important, to make sure that you are connecting relationally, helping them connect relationally with other people on the team. And then the D is about development, that you're making sure that development is happening in two ways. Personally, for that person, that you are shepherding them, that you're caring for them, but also that you're helping them to develop as a ministry leader or a ministry member, team member, that if you've asked them to lead a small group, that you're feeding them tips and ideas of how to become a better small group leader. So it's those types of things about developing them as a team member. And then the E, this is so important, that every time that you are evaluating often, that you're asking the question, are we accomplishing our purpose? You're answering the question, why? Why am I doing that? And you're asking, are we doing it the most effective way? Is this really the best way to do it right now? Because that changes over time. So that is our how we're trying to mobilize volunteers and making sure that their on-ramp into ministry is as successful as possible by using our A through E system. Now, if you aren't a ministry leader or are not in a care group, then you can pause the video or shut the video off here. But if you're a ministry leader or a care group leader, then this part is for you as well, specifically, because this was a big part of the night. And that is, we talked about our small groups here, our care group ministry at CCF. And one thing that we wanted to remind everyone, that the end goal of every person who walks through CCF, our goal is to get them into some type of a small group. Not necessarily a care group, but that they are regularly meeting with a smaller group of people, because rows are good, but circles are best. Rows are good, but circles are best. Because that's where real life transformation happens. That is where the one another's can really happen. Ongoing discipleship development. This really is one of our major pathways for discipleship development, is that they're in some type of a small group. And here's what we know. We know that both statistics tell us this, and we also know from just experience, that for a brand new person to be put into an existing group, even if you add one or two brand new people into an existing small group, where where everyone in that small group is very intentional about welcoming a new person in, here's what we know, that it is so much harder for them to really connect in that small group. And the reason why is because without even realizing it, as a small group, you have a lingo. As a small group, you have shared life experience that the new person does not have. And it makes them, even though no one would ever say this, but it makes them feel like an outsider. And immediately, that is a strike against them, because they feel like, I really don't belong. Even though no one would ever say that, no one would ever want them to feel that way, they still feel like this group really isn't for me. I'm not connecting. And the reason they're not connecting is because it's not new for everyone. So here's what we know. Here's what we know will help new people get connected into a small group, is if we're starting new groups where it's new for everyone, where there is a new life experience being shared together at the same time. We know that people will stick in a small group longer and be more consistent if it's a new experience together. And here's where we need your help. Care group leaders, even ministry leaders. If you're a part of a small group somewhere, or one of our care groups, be looking for people. Be looking for people. And I should say this: if your group has a 10 to 12 people who consistently meet together, if your group is that large, then can you be looking for people in your group that have the ability to be a good discussion facilitator? Can you throw this idea out to your group? The idea that we really need to start new groups, and because we know that's the best way to help people become fully devoted to following Jesus. We know that that's the best way to help people to become lovers of Christ, is by getting them in community, in irresistible community. So here's what I'm asking you, care group leaders. I'm asking you, and ministry leaders, I'm asking you to identify people who have the ability to be able to facilitate a good discussion. I'm asking you, do they have a desire to become more like Jesus? Can they ask good questions? And can they ask good follow-up questions? Or can they be taught that? And do they have a personality that draws people into conversation? That it doesn't, that they don't shut it down. It's really simple. To facilitate a small group, all that means is that you're able to ask, that they have a desire to become more like Jesus, that you're able to ask good questions and then ask good follow-up questions, or they're willing, or they're able to be taught those things. And do they have the type of personality that draws people into the conversation? We're not looking for Bible scholars. We're not looking for somebody who has 120 verses memorized. We're just looking for people who are able to facilitate a discussion, because we give a guide out each week, or we turn people on to videos, and we are always pointing people back to the scripture. So we're given the jumping board. But what we do need are people who can just facilitate those types of discussions. So would you look around in the small group that you currently meet in, and ask the question, can you identify 2 or 3 people that would be good for this, that you think has the potential for that? And then encourage them and encourage your group. Hey, you know what? We've recently been praying and thinking about launching new small groups around CCF. And because we know the best way to help people to grow in their discipleship, in their love for Christ, the best way to help them to develop into that fully devoted follower of Christ, the best way is for them to be in a small group. And we know that the best way to get people connected into a small group is to start new small groups. And we need to do this on an ongoing basis. with all of our groups. So, would you prayerfully consider that? We have a great opportunity starting January the 10th with this Sunday evening service. From there, we know some more new small groups are going to be started. We also know that some of our current groups that have consistently been meeting together for several years, we're asking you to think about taking some of you and go launch a new group that we can add new people into so that it can be a new life shared experience. So I'm trusting that you're going to help us out here. I'm trusting that you're really going to pray about this, but then actively and intentionally be looking through, thinking about the people who currently are in your group so that you can help them manage the talents that they have. This is really about being a good steward of the talents that we have, a good steward of the gifts that God has gifted us with, being good stewards with the people that He is sending our way, and being a good steward of the people that He's going to send us our way. We definitely need your help. Will you help us with this? If you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call or shoot me an email. I'd love to talk with you further about this. Have a great weekend. It's Friday. I pray that your weekend is going to be awesome, that you're going to have some family time, but you're also going to have some time to be serving other people, whether it's on Sunday or maybe it's outside of Sunday. Whenever it is, man, let's do this for the kingdom's sake.